You met with your champion. You did an amazing discovery. You got all the details necessary. I mean, all the juices. And you really built out this amazing demo. You got a proposal in place, but now the deal has stalled and you don't know why. You're scratching your head trying to figure it out. But it turns out there are other people involved that you didn't know about. 12 more to be exact. 12! Here's how you can fix that. Check it out. Hey, everyone. Welcome to another great episode of the Sales Evangelist Podcast. I'm your host, Donald C. Kelly, the Sales Evangelist. And I'm so excited for another great episode. I'm so excited to be here with you today. On this episode, we're going to be talking about number 2. As you remember, I'm doing a series on the missed quota series. I started off telling you what the 10 top reasons why people miss quota in Q1. Then I isolated the top 5, and I'm doing an episode on each of those. If you have missed the past 2, go ahead and listen to them. But if you're here for this one, I want you to get some pen, paper, and take some notes because we're going to school. If this is your first time listening to our podcast, you better subscribe because we're going to notify you every time we drop new pieces of content just like this. And today is going to be one of those exceptional ones that you're going to really love. So let me break this down for you. There are many different reasons why we miss quota, but one of the common reasons that we often find is that the salespeople are in situations where, well, they felt that they've done all that they possibly could. I mean, they did a bunch of research. They met with their champion, did an amazing discovery, wonderful demo, and it seemed, sent the thank you notes, but it seemed like nothing else is working. And it turns out that the buying committee is way bigger than they first thought. The average B2B company has grown to 11 to 13 decision makers. 11 to 13 decision makers per enterprise deal. That's crazy. I mean, that's like half the company. Not really, but it's just so many people that are coming together. You're probably thinking, why? Well, one of the major reasons that I found why so many people are coming in, because it's obviously no one person want to take the blame if something doesn't work out, especially when it's something as large as an enterprise level solution. Nobody wants to put their own reputation on the line because that's going to impact their political clout inside the organization. Maybe you mess up and bring this wrong vendor in, and then your promotion is going to be dinged against you. Maybe it's going to be looked bad on your performance review. There's many different reasons why, but also it mitigates the risk across the committee when everyone else is able to be a part of it, and no one person is going to make a decision. Now, the other side of that, you might say, well, what about procurement? They're going to be a part of this. Of course they are, but there needs to be other people that vet it out. Maybe IT, maybe it's, in this case, we're talking cybersecurity. So you're definitely going to have IT. You're definitely going to have security. You're going to have legal that's going to be a part of this. And maybe even some of the operational organizations that's going to utilize this solution. So there are many different reasons why more people need to be a part of it. But if you don't know who those people are, you ain't going nowhere. Here's another one that I want you to listen to. Buyers spend only 17% of their total purchase journey meeting with potential suppliers. 17%. You got to do something. You got to get them more. How can you get these people prepared more to learn about your company so that you can have a great opportunity? 57% of salespeople say buyers are less dependent on contacting sales during the purchase journey than ever before. So all of these reasons and more, you need to get this thing fixed. You need something done so that you can make sure when you meet with these prospects, when you're working with them, that you actually have something of you give them what they need. But how do you fix it? So I'm going to give you some ideas of what you can do. Now, here's a scenario. Think about this as a CISO. The Chief Information Security Officer and you have built a good relationship, right? Let's pretend you're selling cybersecurity. We're continuing with the example from the other day. You met with him. You got all the demo. You got all the details and a good discovery. And then the deal stalled, like I mentioned in a teaser, and you figure out that there are multiple people involved. There's several people that you didn't even know were a part of this deal. And it turns out this CISO has never made a purchase at this organization at this size before. So he didn't understand all the things that was necessary when it came to this type of solution. So what should you do now when you find yourself in a situation like this? Well, it's going to be even more challenging, but you want to prepare for the next one. And we've all seen this before. But one of the key things is multi-threading. So how do you fix that? You need to equip your champion with a champion toolkit. This equips the champion with everything they need to be able to sell for you when you're not in the room. And what I mean is that oftentimes they're going to have internal meetings. They may have a coffee talk with someone else, or they may send something over to the CFO, and you're not going to be privy to all of those meetings. This person that you're connecting with, a technical person, may not necessarily have the know-how to sell for you. Can you equip them with things? So one of the things that I would probably put in that is a financial summary that's going to focus directly towards my CFO. I want to make sure that they can see the financial reasons behind it, the risk, the analysis, the maybe some of the things that we might be able to put some things in there to help with the cost avoidance, or maybe help to understand some of the things that would come when it comes to premium, or the impact that would happen to the organization financially with this or without the solution. I just want to provide as much information as possible that the CFO is going to understand and really appreciate. You can also put videos in these things as well. I mean, you can use tools like Loom or whatnot to just implement a video that you can explain or someone from your team can explain, just so that when this champion is explaining it to their organization, they have something easy and simple to utilize. The next thing that I'm going to have in that is let's go with the cybersecurity one, right? Because we have clients in that space. So I'm going to focus on a security compliance FAQ for legal, because legal is going to bring that up. You know, they're going to bring it up. They're going to want to know everything is possible, what kind of impact this can have on an organization, where are some of the loopholes, where are some of the areas that they can have challenges to the organization. They're trying to protect the organization integrity. And you need to make sure that you demonstrate that this is going to still do that, especially when you use our solution. The third thing I want to talk about is the competitive comparison for the procurement team, because procurement is going to want to look at 3 different bids or 4 or 5 different bids. Can you identify the different competitors out there and line yourself up? Now, most of your other competitors, they're not preparing a champion toolkit, by the way. Now, you preparing this is going to help you to stand out and make you a differentiator. It's going to make you look more like a professional rather than an amateur trying to do something. So that's going to be important. The next piece that I'd put in there is an executive summary. And what this is going to do is just going to be more for the board, talking about the concerns of the solutions, and then the fiduciary reasons by them why they should be investing in this. That's going to help the organization overall. This type of preparation is going to help this champion to be so equipped. And you probably put some other things in there like testimonials from your current vendors, some case studies and so forth. But this is going to equip them, your champion, to be able to tackle any issues that come up. And I would even put a section for the common objections. I wouldn't call it common objections, but I'll put like maybe a frequently asked questions. And this is going to be all of the objections that people would bring up, and I would just tackle those. And you could probably, again, use it where you could put videos and back it up with case studies and data. But that champion toolkit, come on, man. It's going to help that champion to be ready to be able to handle any of those situations with some of those complicated individuals that probably will be a part of this process. The second thing that I would tell you, if you're dealing in a situation like this and you're trying to figure out all the 11, so that's the champion toolkit. So that's number 1. Number 2, the second thing that I'll tell you is that in your second meeting with your champion, you should get a lay of the land. You should get a map or a org map of everyone that's going to be a part of the committee as much as to their understanding as possible. Now, you've done this before as a cybersecurity seller, so you understand some of the people that needs to be a part of that: legal, financial, procurement, CFO, CISO, the CIO. You get it. It's going to go to the board. This is a $400,000 deal, for goodness sake. So you get all of this stuff. Now, if your champion doesn't know that, you need to equip him or her with that knowledge and find out who those contacts are. And most importantly, you need to find out what matters most to those individuals. If you can figure out what matters most to those individuals, cha-ching, money in the bank for you and for your client. But you have to make sure you get that information, and your champion is going to be able to help you, equip you with that. Now, the third thing I recommend that you do is that you multi-thread without going over your champion. What this might look like is I would reach out to my champion and I would say to him or to her something to the nature of, "Hey, Mary, would it make sense for me to reach out and connect with, or would it make sense for you to introduce me to Doug, the CFO, so that I can go through the financials with him so that you don't have to carry that conversation all by yourself?" Now, most champions are gonna appreciate that, especially the ones that don't have an ego. And they're gonna say, "Yeah, for sure, we can definitely do that." Because what this does, these side conversations, allows for you to get a chance to meet all of these individuals. Now, think about the competitors, those people who might be the other individuals that are not doing this. They're gonna be totally caught off blindsided. They're going to be the ones that are going to have deals stall because the simple fact is they didn't do this stuff. If you were able to figure out what matters to each individual, equip the champion with the champion toolkit, and then multi-thread like this, get introduction from your champion to key contacts, have these people mapped out what matters most to them, figure out who's going to be in support and who's not in support. If you can do that, I'm telling you, it's going to help you. And these deals that you saw stall in Q1, you're going to see less of them stall because you have uncovered all of the different challenges, all of the different areas, all of the different issues. and you're making sure that there's nothing that would hold this deal back from moving forward. It's not that complicated. It's very simple. So again, the three things that I'll tell you to do is one, recognize, well, first thing you need to recognize is that there are way more people a part of a deal than used to be in the past. Number two, I need you to recognize that you need to build a champion's toolkit. You can put some more stuff in that champion toolkit, but I gave you some ideas of that. Number three, I want you to prepare your champion by asking them who else is going to be a part of this committee. Maybe they know, maybe they don't know, and find out what matters most to them. And then the third thing, and one of the most important, is that ask for introduction from your champion to these contacts so you can introduce yourself and help tackle some of the challenges that may come up before you guys get a chance, even before you get to the demo or decision point. Not that difficult, but I would love to hear from you. What are some things that you feel that you can do to help make sure none of your deals stall? Go ahead and drop a message down below. As always, I want you to thrive. I want you to succeed. I want you to raise your level of thinking. But most importantly, I want you to go out and do big things. See you on the next one.